Unmute your mic, Kalishta. I think your mic is muted. Uh, yeah.
Yes, yes, he was being loud. Welcome to Conversation 473. Tonight, it's a free night. We're talking about almost everything that has developed here within the last week or two. Rolanda is calling it the rum talk night without the rum. If there's any rum left in the country, without the rum, we're not big rum people tonight. Developments with the NIS, questions about the legality of the NIS unemployment benefits that we're paying. Sandy Island up for sale, and I was reminded that we can't blame Keith Mitchell for that sale this time. Um, it's not a Crown property. Lots of things happening. The police, they've solved an 8-year-old murder in St. Mark. I was impressed by that. That 8 years later, people have been charged for murder in the death of a man in Nonpareil, St. Mark's resident, charged for non-capital murder in the death of his wife, common law wife. Questions about I think the evidence that has been put up against, is being presented against him, has to do with a pregnancy that allegedly was an alleged attempt was made to get rid of that pregnancy by bush means, and that person has been arrested and charged. Another interesting case. And then, of course, there's the whole COVID situation and what's happening now, the country freeing up, and a lot of changes took place in our lives while we cope with COVID, including backyard gardening, which has impressed the Prime Minister so much. He talked about it in his speech on Sunday night. He was impressed that we're planting in the back of our houses. Um, our I Don't Like Agriculture Prime Minister was impressed with backyard gardening. I'm impressed as well. I've seen some of my neighbors and other people planting. Somebody's planting on their balcony a whole bunch of tomatoes. And, if we can try and put that sort of drive into everything that's happening in the country, we might do a lot better. So, Kitaka, yeah, a lot happening. What's happening on your end?
Well, for me, what I've been seeing recently is, well, I've been feeling the struggle of people who can't pay their rent and their utilities and so on. Um, I had to deal with some interesting situations recently. The messages from individuals, wanting alleged financial support, um, being at the grocery store and, witnessing people have to be more resourceful, seeing the streets and internet and social media with people hustling a lot. Everyone is turning their hands, selling some food here, some plants here, planting some stuff here. So for me, I'm really kind of seeing a change in attitude in a lot of people in Grenada right now. I think like COVID is really like making some things sink home, that we have to adapt and we have to shift the way that we operate. Um, Speaking to some of my friends in tourism recently, and not hearing a hopeful tune, because I mean, even though borders are open and so on, a lot of people don't have that cash flow and that money and disposable income to travel. So all in all, it's been a very interesting time. I mean, even a while ago, I was speaking to a friend of mine in Trinidad, and about what's going on down there, the police brutality, the protests in areas like Mova, Laventille, and so on. Um, and it's just like people keep saying, 2020 just keep getting more interesting and more interesting every day. It's like someone was even telling me we have to be prepared for the announcement of aliens very soon, based on how things have been have been looking. That's the next step in a great movie called 2020.
ET is coming to town. Well, I'm looking forward to that one. I would love some evidence of the existence of other life in the universe. So, Rolanda,
Uh,
what's been happening? What's been up to you? Besides
well,
working hard.
I saw, yeah, well, I've been working hard. This bloody pigs, just which has nothing to do with me. I just had 12 babies. We've been working very hard. I heard there was a plane that went into Jamaica. I think it's a private charter from Sandals that's bringing holiday makers. I don't know if you seen that. What I do find, people coming at work to buy bottles, I had to keep saying to them, and put it, where is your face mask? It seems like people forget that we are still under lockdown and they'll be coming and chatting in your face with no sort of protection, So we still have to remember that we're under lockdown. But what really pleased me is that people I think Grenada has always taken control of their lives and not relying on any government. Because although I don't think we have that strong agriculture sector, people are out there, as you said, Kalisha, just planting. People realize they have to rely on themselves now. So every little bit, I've never seen Grenada so clean. You could look right through now the island. Everybody cutting the bush down and planting the garden and becoming very independent. So I do hope now they realize the value of land and they will stop selling our inheritance, and the grandchildren inheritance, and realize that if they continue the way we were going, the next two generation would be planting in pots on the veranda. So I hope people that have had land in the family from generation to generation would realize they have to pass that land on to the next generation.
Yeah, well, people not wearing their face masks, that is now commonplace, it appears. We're not so worried about COVID 19 anymore. And we're probably not
Kalista,
so
speak a
worried
little bit
about.
louder in your mic, Kalista.
Oh, sorry. We're probably not
Yeah.
so worried about it anymore because the powers that be, the government, the prime minister, they have announced that we're COVID free, and people are hearing about the borders opening. So people will definitely take that as a cue that everything is okay. There isn't a cautious note in the utterances of the ministry officials, the Ministry of Health, or the Prime Minister himself. There isn't any cautious there isn't a cautious attitude or approach to the situation. In his address on Sunday night, the Prime Minister talked about not not preventing the spread of COVID, but I think it was reducing the spread was the word that he used. But if we are at this point COVID free, then our goal should be prevention, not 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 decreasing our exposure, but preventing it, because we've done well if the numbers and the information that's being provided is truthful, and I have no evidence to suggest that it's not. Then prevention, the words that we use have an impact on how people respond and the message that people take away from a situation. And when we're not saying, it seems as if they're ready to do business as usual. And so people will take the cue from that. Well, I won't, because I'm still concerned, I'm still worried, and I expect that we're able to take a few steps backward once we take the inevitable, make the inevitable decision to open up the country more. We will see cases coming in. I mean, we've had a lot of people have come back in. I saw a cruise ship in town yesterday on Monday. There was a cruise ship docked in town, which was surprising and unusual sight for me. They brought people home, workers, I believe it was. So that, and eventually at some point they will come again, and it doesn't appear as if the world is any closer to eradicating COVID-19, and so we will become exposed again. Um, and that is, I believe, the message that should be sent, not necessarily to panic people, to ensure that people make the right decisions and do the right thing. Um, Apart from planting your backyard gardening, but you want to make sure that we don't have a big
But,
problem with COVID-19 again. We dodged a bullet,
but,
but it's still flying through the air towards us.
but Kalista, I always been thinking about it. Like even when I look at news and so on, and seeing the prime minister, the president of the United States not wearing a mask,
But
And
you said that the other night. He never did. From the beginning, he never wore a mask. And
yes, so like,
somebody as arrogant as he is not going to wear a mask.
But
and
now tonight I was seeing the news where he said that he has worn masks, although he had said, when Donald Trump says something, it's just a laugh. Because he was saying it was all fake, he was not wearing any mask. And tonight the problem in America is getting so out of hand that he's encouraging people now to wear their masks. Whereas before he was saying he wasn't, and he said, oh, he wears it if he's in a room with people, that he wears his mask. And I think he was describing that he had a black one on, and it is such a shame when you see what's happening to America. It's supposed to be one of the most powerful country in the world, ruled by one of the most powerful man in the world. And, it's putting so many people's life at risk. But going away from that, I think in Grenada we have to be so proud. I mean, our people has done so well. The way they protected themselves, their children, their grandparents, the old, even the people that had COVID, recovered fully. We have to really give them a clap. I'm very, very, very proud. Every time I think that we never lost anyone, it makes me feel good. But we have to continue. We cannot let our guard down. We just have to continue, and we just have to keep looking after ourselves and our neighbors. Well done.
well, I mean, I'll take it a step further, Miss McQueen. I mean, even now, I think the first part of the job has been done, so people now are able to wash their hands, social distance, and so on. But I think something that I am not hearing enough of in our media from people is the importance of our lifestyle choices, like how we eat, like
Yes.
ensuring that we eat, healthy food, we drink water, we exercise, and we boost our immunity and our immune system. Because when COVID came out, the statistics said that, almost 80% of people who get COVID and who has a very robust and strong immune system will be able to ride out the disease. I mean, even now I'm looking at the statistics. Worldwide now, we have 10.5 confirmed cases worldwide and 512,000 deaths. Grenada is like 26 cases and 23 cases and 23 cases recovered. So, I mean, even it shows that we have an edge. We have that natural environment. We have the greenery. We have the coconut water, the turmeric, the ginger, all the wonderful fruits and vegetables, the mango, the avocado, which we need to be consuming a lot of right now, and the herb teas that our grandparents and them used to tell us about when we was younger. The black state in the morning and all those things is vitally needed right now to keep our body in tip-top shape, because that is a vital part of staying COVID free as well. If there is any eventuality of people coming out from the United States and so on, bringing any disease in our country when it open back up.
Well, it's looking very frightening. Can you hear
Are you
us?
there, Ms. McQueen? The internet seems to be giving some
Yeah, I say
problems. Are you
looking.
there?
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah, hello. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Are you there? Are you there, Ms.
Hello.
McQueen? Yeah. The
Yeah,
internet was giving a
yeah,
bit of problem.
yeah. Well, as I said, we have to be proud. But going on to rent, lots of people had a rent-free period because I personally have some apartments that we give people rent-free period, and I was quite surprised that nobody had telephoned us to say, listen, I'm back at work and this is what I've planned, or, they just really haven't said anything,
So for you, as someone who is a landlady, how has that COVID experience been? Like, is the moratorium from the banks now over, and how are tenants doing? Are they paying their rents and so on on time?
No, well, nobody is paying any rent. But look at it that remember when we've had the first conversation, I remember you were saying, Kitaka, that landlords has to understand. And remember I said sometimes the only income that a landlord has is from the property that they rent out. If that was the income I was relying on, I would be really suffering because most people do not realize that people that rent properties out, that's the only income they have. So in 3 months, I haven't got anything. And then all the Airbnb has been cancelled. So can you imagine if I was relying on that money to pay my bills and to survive? So we have to, the people that's out there that is renting and maybe that has gone back out to work, it doesn't matter how small it is, they should try and get something and give it to the landlord because the landlord has to pay the rent, they have to buy food, they have to, because somebody is a landlord, that does not mean they have extra money. We are going through, I think it would be so nice if people was to turn back and say, I've just returned to work. There isn't much money I'm making, but, can I give you something towards, because we are all in this together. If you can't afford it, then there is nothing you can do if you're not bringing in an income. And maybe that is where the government should be helping people, with their rent, because how long can it go on for? Because, as I said, the landlords are not having an income.
Well, I mean, sorry. You're right. Rent support. Rent support is one of the areas that the government should consider. I mean, on the normal time, on the peace time, normal time, um, the welfare system really should go to the neediest and the worst off. But you pay taxes and you cooperate as a citizen within the workings of the nation, in the hopes that when things come crashing down, that that your government is and your government is there to provide some assistance. So far, there hasn't been much meaningful assistance um, to the people to deal with the needs of the people that have come about as a result of the COVID crisis. Um, the Prime Minister talked about in his address on Sunday night that landlords should be sensitive. And yes, they should be sensitive. We all should be sensitive to what each other is going through under these unusual circumstances we've had to face for the last few months. But the landlord has a situation too. Even if he was just renting and had a job that he's not doing anymore because of COVID 19, or whether he was depending completely on the income from his rental property, whether it's a commercial building or where someone is living. Um, so they need money too, and so asking them to be sensitive is really insensitive as far as I am concerned. Um, as far as I see this is, it's almost as if it's an assumption that everybody who's a landlord is some sort of extraordinary millionaire, who's going to be able to have other means of supporting themselves, while the income from the property is not coming. But still, people need to, you have somebody renting by you and they don't have all the money to pay right now. You take what they have, and let's see how things go for the next few months. But certainly, we cannot expect people to stay indefinitely in people's property, private property, without being able to pay the rent. That is just not realistic. That is not fair. That doesn't make sense. That kind of responsibility of support, of indefinite support, and long-term support. That really is the government's job, simply because we do our part as citizens and we pay taxes and we keep the country running. And there comes a time when you you have to help. And so far, the taxi drivers, for instance, they have been well taken care of. The workers in the hotel sector, they have been well taken care of. But everybody else has been left by the wayside with this government. I mean, the situation with NIS, that is such a joke. From the amount to the difficulty it is in even getting that $330 and all the conditions where, they're not gonna, pay for April. You have to apply from May. Um, Cutting back on the time. I think if you once you go back to work, you're no longer going to be getting it. What we needed was a stimulus for the people to continue to, over a few months, to have something extra to make up for the shortcomings of not working. And what is NIS now is placing this condition on people, saying that if your employer is missing, was delinquent, then you don't get any money. NIS does not have the legal authority to do that. First of all, the income, the unemployment benefit that we're paying is not an unemployment benefit, simply because NIS does not have a legal authority to use the funds to pay unemployment. They don't. So we have that one thing. So the conditions which should be put in place to pay this money out cannot be along the lines of the regulations that govern NIS, because they are now I mean, it's illegal, plain and simple. It's illegal to operate it that way. To use the rules and regulations of the NIS under the Act to pay unemployment benefit, which is not included in the Act that gives NIS its power. I'm surprised that the Prime Minister and all of these people and the Attorney General and the Ministry of Legal Affairs and all of these people who are supposed to be looking after our legal issues and not realizing that what's happening at NIS, and to fix it, what really needed to happen, that $10 million should have gone into the Treasury. I mean, government is always borrowing from NIS anyhow. Borrow the money from NIS, put it in the Treasury, and pay people through the Treasury instead of creating that monster that they have created. So the NIS situation has so many problems, from legal problems, the legality of it, to just how people are actually not benefiting from it. A lot of people are still waiting to get benefits and being told they don't qualify, or even just the method for applying and deal and navigating through the process is extremely difficult. And it's almost as if the $10 million was announced, but they don't really want to pay it. And they're hoping that people will probably get fed up or not be able to do it, or that the clock would run out and enough people would go back to work. I mean, the fact that they're prorating it is telling that they really are trying to avoid having to pay.
So Kalista, it begs to ask then, like, what I'm thinking about while you speak is like, is that money actually even there, and is it intentionally done to stretch on the process, as you say, to make it difficult, and so by time September, August, individuals are frustrated and back to work and things are back to normal and they don't get to pay all that money? Because I think when I did some research recently back to Hurricane Ivan, the amount that was put out to be paid out was not fully paid out when you really check the statistics at the back end. So for me, I mean, even like being on the street with the people, I've been hearing a lot of crime, even hearing some people who are very despondent right now, and it's like has already given up because the process is a little bit too rigorous. Another thing that I heard as well was, is this being used as a strategy to register out of the rogue businesses as well, and individuals who have been under the radar and not been contributing to NS? So it leaves a lot of questions in my mind, but I strongly stand by that point you make in terms of not having so much conditions to provide the employment support. Once the government provide the list and say, okay, Kitaka, Kalistra, Rolanda McQueen, unemployed, they need some support, boom, bam. Because that stimulus package could be the difference between hunger and starvation in certain instances in our country right now.
No, I mean, if they had made a good faith effort, Kitaka, and put that $10 million quickly into the economy, it would have made a difference. No, it's not making a difference, because it's not really coming into the economy. With all the hoops that people have to jump through, they haven't really paid out a lot of the money. They probably won't. The clock is going to run out on it. And but that $10 million really could have made a difference in stimulating the local economy. With people spending, spending would have increased if there's $10 million out there in the hands of working class. And it would have made a big difference. But that's not how they're doing it. And even using it as a guise to register rogue businesses. Businesses ought not supposed to be registering NIS for the employees to benefit from that, because it's not part of what NIS is supposed to be doing. NIS is supposed to What NIS is doing is facilitating something on the side for government, and it should have been the Treasury, of course, but that's how they set it up. So it had to be an independent payout within the NIS. It cannot be under the NIS legal framework that gives NIS its power. It can't happen that way. And they're calling it an unemployment benefit in an organization that does not have the power to pay unemployment benefits to people. And on top of that, insisting that the regulations must be followed in order for you to qualify for benefits. Um, you know, for heaven's sake, NDC have a lot of lawyers. Can the lawyer take action and deal with this? I find that we don't like to take people to court at all, right?
And Tevin is actually in the chat, you know. Tevin is
Yeah,
actually
I
watching the
see,
program.
I see, and the city way, yeah. Tevin, I have a problem as you are there. We have one worker that hasn't got a bank account. He hasn't got an NI. He has no ID, and he is one of the people. But every month I make sure I pay his NIS because I always think so. We pay it on what you call an emergency number, and he's been paying his NIS, for years. And we've spoken to NIS. They know they're taking the money. They receive the money every month, but they will not give him the money because they say, they were happy to take it with no ID.
So what reason did they give for him not qualifying for the benefit?
They say he has to go and bring in or go and get a birth certificate and then go and open a bank account because he's only paid into a bank account. And he has to open a bank. But one of the most difficult thing here is to open a bank account. And with this COVID now, with all the line and the queuing and everything, it's just too stressful for him. So he just hasn't done it. And it's not something I offer to maybe write a letter because they know they are taking the money from him. But so he is one of them that is not going to get it. And I'm sure there is quite a lot of people like that, We have something again, Kitaka, I don't know if you've seen it, Kingsley James, that's one of our regular listeners. I saw he put something on Facebook this morning where his brother has just been diagnosed with kidney problem, and he put an appeal out there so people can help them, maybe get a GoFundMe page to contribute. And this makes me very sad because we have lost so much. When you hear the amount of money government are losing, I think Kalisha was saying $40 million is it a nutmeg that's been lost again by bad investment. And Grenadians that work so hard, when they become sick, the pressure that is put on the family, I just think it's just not fair because these people have just ordinary jobs and, they're having to run around trying to get money to help their loved ones. When you hear of millions and millions of dollars, every time they make a mistake or they make a F up, it's 20 million, 40 million, and then a Grenadian gets ill and the family has to be stressing out themselves to get money to pay for medical attention, and not to say they are traveling, just to get medical attention in Grenada. A whole set of stress is put onto the family. It worries me.
Well, the problem here is because the healthcare sector is in the toilet. I suppose the point here would be that if better investments were made with our monies, that we would have better healthcare system, that we would have dialysis machines in the hospital to service the people with kidney problems, so that they don't have to go around with a begging bowl in order to pay a private guy. Um, or by now, our health insurance would have been up and running, so that people are covered. A lot of, we talk a lot about how well Grenada is doing, and I think it's how well Grenada is doing from the perspective of the IMF and the World Bank and those people. And once they think you're doing well, it means that your people aren't doing well. Um, but we are not doing very well, and it's not about looking over a handout from the government. Things like health and education, those are not benefits, those are the people's rights. Okay, people have a right to the best that can be offered in those areas. So, but that is not happening here. We're not getting an education system or a healthcare system that is fitting what we have a right to have, and that is, um, really, and it's been going on for so long. It's so many opportunities we've had to fix the education and the healthcare sectors, two of the most important sectors for the lives of Grenadians, right? And educated people and healthy people, you can't beat them. And but we're having we're losing a lot of people because of the quality of our health. A lot of people are dying who shouldn't, because they can't get the proper care at the hospital and can't afford to go elsewhere to get it. And a lot of people are not getting a proper education because they can't afford it either. And for me, that is really disgraceful. And what we're seeing now is really so counterproductive to building a good legacy, which is a big word that was tossed around in recent years. That I wonder, what are they thinking? But no one seems to be really benefiting from this Grenada in any meaningful way. People ought not in 2020 to be going around with a begging bowl in a country with 105 or 6 or 11,000 people with a begging bowl. If you have a kidney disease, you should be able to go to the hospital and get treated. But they're acting as if having a dialysis unit in the hospital is rocket science. I mean, a private guy went ahead and set it up and set up one and is running it. Government with millions of dollars at their disposal, guaranteeing strange people who we don't even know show up with a piece of paper, and we sign away and give them the right to go and borrow millions and millions of dollars in the name of us and our children, in the name of Grenada. And we can't put a proper dialysis unit in the hospital. For years, we weren't producing oxygen at the hospital. The oxygen plant at the hospital was not working. And you see, when you complain about these things, you're accused of playing politics. And politics is in everything. And there's a difference between partisan politics and just regular politics. Okay? It all goes back to politics. But it's not partisan. Wanting a proper healthcare does not mean you don't like the government. It just means you like yourself and you like your children and you like the people around you. And it really is obscene and insulting when you ask for better education system, better healthcare system, better management of the country's resources, that people accuse you of playing politics. And so it's a slap in the face to the citizens when that happens, really. Because it says you have no rights. It says the Constitution doesn't exist and you have no right. How dare you ask for anything better than what we're giving you and what we're setting up the environment for you to get. So it's sometimes
I agree with
Kitaka,
Ajit.
Kitaka was talking about protests in Trinidad, right? Everybody protesting everywhere except in Grenada. Why is that? Why are you people so afraid to say no and say no loudly? What are you afraid of? The Prime Minister is a really nice guy. He won't send the soldiers out to kill you. He's a really nice guy. He would never turn the guns on the masses. Protest if you need to protest. I think it's because you're so quiet, he thinks everything is okay. But he's such a nice guy that if he hears the public complaining, um, in the proper way that that citizens are supposed to protest, then he'll probably start doing a better job both for his legacy and for our survival.
Ajit Simon said, I don't know if you got that. He said we are surviving from hand to mouth, from our ability and things that keep us moving forward, not by the government. And I seem to
Well,
agree with that.
why do we have to be hand to mouth? Why do we have to be hand to mouth? We don't have to be hand to mouth. I mean, I'm not
But
upset.
Kalisha, one of the big things that nobody is addressing is this. There is a lot of companies that are taking NIS from the workers and are not paying it. And I don't think people realize how important it is to make sure that the employer pay the NIS, because your NIS is what you're going to rely on when you're retired. This is the money you are going to survive on. And I don't know who is policing. This should be a crime. This should be fraud. This
Well,
should be.
it is illegal. It is illegal to not pay to take the deductions from your employee and not pass it on. That's illegal.
But
A
who
lot
is
of business,
police? But it seems like people
a
are
lot no
policing
no
it.
no. A lot of businesses have been taken to court. A lot of action has been taken against a lot of businesses. Once it's NIS checks and would write and ask people to pay, and when they don't pay, they would take them to court. A lot of people have had to make arrangements with NIS to pay in installments because they have known they owe it so long, from such a long time. And of course, things being what they are in Grenada, and some people would have been able to get away with it for quite a while, and so the amount that they may have to pay is a lot, and so arrangements will be made to pay and so on. But it is illegal not to pay it, and I know for a fact that several businesses have gone to court on have been taken to court on this, and action taken against them. A security company comes to mind now. I won't mention the name. Um, and so it is being policed and managed, although like everything else in Grenada, probably not to the full extent of the powers that exist to manage it.
And Kalishra, you made a point earlier on about investing in the critical things that would help to build the people. The education of the people, the health and wealth and the livelihoods and so on of the people. And I think even now, at this time right now, like we really, really have to get it right there. Because we cannot continue to think about things in the short-term gratification perspective way. I do this now and I get money now, and everything is just a very instant exchange. Like we really have to go into the farmer mentality and mindset right now, where we have to be willing to put in certain work now that we may not even benefit from directly. Certain things that we need to put in place for our children. So my children could know, okay, when as a citizen of Grenada, they could get high quality healthcare, they could get a high quality education and so on that does not send the parents into poverty. You understand? I know enough little youths that very intelligent and so on have a lot of prospects and cannot really explore tertiary education because of the cost. The scholarships are limited and it goes to a selected few. Even though you want to make it as equitable as possible and not riddled with any nepotism or so on, it's not going to touch much because it's not a lot. We don't have much institutions here to really lift the standard. So for me, I think right now, from government come right down to the people. Like we really had to invest with a more long-term mindset, and we had to sacrifice some of the gratification and some of the short-term rewards that we are accustomed getting for tomorrow and for the generations to come. I mean, even with the paying of NS and so on, I mean, I know recently there was news that said that the supermarket chain Andalan Associates was not paying the VAT. And that is even something more critical than NS. So there's also that side of it where some businesses could get waivers and do certain things that other citizens cannot get. So we need to really balance the playing field as well, so that things can operate properly. Because breaking the law, it shouldn't happen in that kind of way. And it seems like once if you have a particular name, you have a particular amount of money in the bank, and you have a particular level of connections, you can jump over certain fences, and that shouldn't be the case. I mean, the hand to mouth comment from the guy as well. I mean, it's sad, and I mean, many people live that way still, but we have to come out of that, and we can. As you mentioned, Kalishta, Grenada is a little dot. We are like a little dot, like we are a little dot on the map. We can go around Grenada in about 3 hours. There's greenery all over. We have so many resources here that we can utilize, and there shouldn't be poverty here in this way that it is, in terms of people having to sit down and depend and need hand to mouth to survive on a day-to-day basis. Even today, I made a post on Facebook about that, where even a lot of women who are forced to have to sleep with men to pay their rent and to keep their job and for the groceries and for the rent and all these things, and that is also sad. And even now, as livelihoods have been affected so much, there leaves a gap for that kind of level of dependencies going on, and more of these things could happen, and we really can't be going down that kind of road right now.
Well, one of the things you said, Kitaka, is about investing for the next generation. I went up to Maribo this week to buy some plants, and I was buying things like nutmegs and cocoa, and things that that my grandchildren and them would be, I'm planting for the next generation. Like, remember, if you look at the cocoa and the nutmeg, that has sent, as you say, lots of us, the children, the grandchildren, everyone to school. So we just have to start thinking now, as you said, about the next generation that is coming. We have to stop thinking selfish.
Yeah, and even like entrepreneurs too, because I've been speaking to some of my fellow entrepreneur friends, and I'm telling them, hey guys, like we really had to unite right now. Like we can be ordering things all about for ourselves. Like we all put money together and bring down stuff if you have to bring down stuff, or like we help out each other in terms of how we can help to bring down each other's operating costs and so on, and really support each other, because this period is that kind of energy is what going to really get us out of this quicker and put us on a different pathway. Because the selfishness will not work. No man is an island, and a lot of businesses, more and more I'm going, a lot of businesses are down and out. A lot are on life support right now. And the only way is to unite. The only way is to unite and to pull our resources together. Without that, we may be going down deeper and deeper into a hole that it may be very difficult to come out of. Unity and teamwork is the way to go.
Well, they always say COVID is going to change the way things goes on now, and I so agree with you that people should work together, but it seems like people are scared of if they work together, that they're frightened of somebody will make more than them. But the only how we are small. If I have a container coming from China, there is nothing wrong in you piggybacking on it and putting your little bit in it as well. A young man had a machine coming from China. When he told me the prices he had to pay, his duties was more than the cost of the machine. His postage and just the cost to get the machine here was much more expensive than what he paid for the machine. If he was in that country where the machine was made, maybe he would have paid. He would have been able to get three. And when he got here, something went wrong and the board blew. So he has to now spend more money to get it back. And he was so excited, waiting. He wants to do the business and things like that. But as you say, we have to put together. I mean, with me, because we do tea as well. So I always make sure I try and share it with the people that can't buy as much, but also has a good product, or let they piggy bank on me. So as you said, we just have to work together, and that hopefully will make our money goes a long way, because there is nobody that's going to help do it. So it's all about getting together and doing it ourselves.
Yeah, and I mean, like, and because remember, our countries in the Caribbean, have been very dependent on outside countries. Like you know that we import the majority percentage of our food. A lot of the things, many of the things, the majority of things that we have here, we don't manufacture anything. You know, and with the world state of affairs being so unsettling, where so many different things are moving here and there, you know, it will not surprise us if one day a company that we really need things from, send a message for us and say, we need that. Hey, what going on now? I may not be able to send these things to you guys, you know. I may not be able to send down this thing to you guys right now. What are we going to do? Even our lifestyles may have to change, and we have to be looking to think in that direction as well. Like I was thinking about it recently, even people who left the countryside to come to town for a job in the hotel or to work somewhere or to go to SGU or whatever. Now maybe a time where you have to go back in the country and live because you cannot afford that lifestyle anymore. You know, you might realize when you take a vehicle recently from the bank, you cannot pay. You cannot let your pride keep you with a big bill that you cannot, you know, pay for. You may have to make swallow your pride and let it take back your vehicle and really like change your lifestyle, eat differently, try to spend your money more inside of the country. Because I think for too long, a lot of our hard working dollars have also been going out and local businesses have always complained about cash flow and people not supporting the local businesses and so on. And so we really need to really reshape how we look at it, and we have to really be self-sufficient within our country and connect within our country and unite and work together because it's the only way. But for you, Miss McQueen, um, in terms of Monkpio and COVID and so on, like what do you foresee in terms of the next couple months? How is the rest of the year looking for you guys?
We are doing well because water, I think because of COVID, people are making they thinking twice about what they drink, what they eat, So we thank God, we still have our support there. We're just getting another shipment to send back up to England. We have had inquiries from America that people want in the water because people are forced to take care of themselves. And we, thank God, as I said, I have to thank our customers for continue buying, supporting us. And so I look forward to 2021. I've bypassed 2020 and I'm looking forward. But this is a time when you sit down and you plan. And there are so many things coming up. I'm planning for next year, please God. All the exciting things that we can do. It gives us a time to sit down and think and plan and see how we get in there. And I have a lot of confidence that we will coming out of this a lot stronger. We will be more supportive to each other. We'll realize that we cannot do it by ourselves. Remember, just only a couple of weeks ago, if somebody coughed near to you or said something, you were so frightened. You were thinking, "Oh my God, am I the next person?" There is an old guy that's blind that is right by my work, and usually he goes in front of handles and beg. I mean, he's just gone blind. So sometimes I walk him back there, and he don't have a mask. And you do think to yourself, "Oh my God, this man has no mask." There I am walking and chatting with him. But it's a time where we cannot be selfish. And I had one person that's I call her in for some lunch today, and you just have to look at your neighbor Kitaka, and you could tell by looking at sometime in people's eyes that they are going through a tough time, and it's not the time where we have to stop and criticize and say, "Oh, they should have made plans or they should have put something aside." I think the time for that will come. I think what we have to do now is just to help where we can. It doesn't matter how little we have, even if you have just a few lines, give some to your neighbors. When I go up to the farm, when I bring in down logo or whatever it is, or breadfruit, I have a big breadfruit tree. I wouldn't even dream of selling it. You just, as you say, we just have to keep helping each other, and we will get through it.
Truly. Can you share back your back with
But
us?
but don't you think that if we have better economic planning in the country, if we have the people who are supposed to create the environment for employment, to create the environment for businesses to want to open up and operate and employ people, if we have the right environment in the country, do you think there's going to be need for all of this hand to mouth? We cannot look at giving our neighbor some lime. We cannot look at giving our neighbor some lime or breadfruit as the method for development and survival of Grenada. It is the human thing to do, to be generous to each other, and you have extra and you give somebody, but that cannot be the rule of thumb for how we operate. What we need to be asking, and remember, a lot of the problems that people are facing now, COVID simply compounded those problems. But the poverty, the depravity, the hunger, the lack of jobs, the sexual exploitation of our women, those things were always there. They were always happening. We were in a bad way long before COVID came out. COVID simply offered a lens through which we could see it more clearly. And that people who could have hustled and survived day to day because they were able to get out there, the woman who was able to sneak into to Mr. Joe back door and get her $50 to buy something for her children so they could survive another 2 days. Or the girl in the Indian store who was getting her $600 or $700 or whatever that was finished by the third of the month if it lasted that long. Those situations were there. It's just that with COVID-19, everything came into stark relief and we could see it more clearly what is happening. But the COVID going away is not going to be what is going to make the difference. What is going to make the difference is, and giving your neighbor 2 limes is not what is going to make the difference. What is going to make the difference is holding the people who manage the country to account, because we have a serious crisis of management in the country. And once we holding these people to account and insisting that the decisions that they make, the policies that they put in place, the causes that they support are relevant and matter to the Grenadian people, to creating jobs. Okay? And I'm not saying the government needs to give people jobs, because I don't believe in the government giving people jobs. This is not the government role. The government's role is in creating enabling environments so that we can educate ourselves well, that we can get good health care, that we can get employment that is going to be able to put food on the table and still allow us to save something. This is what is needed. And it doesn't matter how committed we are. If the environment, the enabling environment, it has to work hand in hand with our drive and our passion and our ambitions and our visions is not there, then it is all going to be in vain. People with great business ideas who cannot, for instance, get angel funding or get qualify through the GDP to get some monies to put their business there, or is so heavily burdened by the government's tax regime that they can't stay in business.
And what Bob Marisha said,
Those are the things that we need to really be looking at and be concerned about. That right now the country's on lockdown, a lot of things are not happening, and so giving your neighbor some lime is the Grenadian way. We've always done that. But
Bob Marisha said, he said, invest in human development. Somebody was saying to me they went to the Grenada Development Bank for a loan that I think it's a loan where that could be signed off, and it's a professional person, and they have a fantastic idea. The loan has been approved, and they've been waiting for the loan now for nearly 2 months. Everything they have, as I say, it's been approved. So you can imagine they have contacted the other side. Everything is packed and ready to go. And they're not getting the loan. So it's a lot of things the government seems to promise a lot of things. oh, I don't know if it's the government or who. Well, yeah, it has to be the government. Promises people a lot of things. They get all ready. They get all hyped up. They get everything that is required, and when they go for the money, there seems to have a very big pause. So it's like raising your hope and then dashing it all down. This I find quite hard to deal
Well,
with. So as you say, the
if
government doesn't have.
if the government was a man, they definitely wasn't gonna get no woman because seriously, too many broken promises. Yes, they never could deliver, and they could never quite get there. Um, and put their money where their mouth is. And if they were a man, they definitely would not be popular with the women.
Women like sweet talk.
But you know what?
Remember,
Women seem like they like sweet talk, but that's probably the ones who don't have children yet. The women who make two have children, their view is different. They know a thing or two about keeping promises and putting your money where your mouth is. But you know, Kitaka, aren't you proud of how far Miss McQueen has come? That she's beginning to recognize that the whole thing, the boat is very leaky, and we don't even have buckets to bail.
She come to it, man. But I guess it's just time, like COVID. To be honest with you, Alistair, COVID and no carnival, no time to go and drink rum and play a mass. Really have some people opening their eyes more to see what really been there for years, and it's just been it just get more vivid now because people are distracted as they was back in the past. I guess being able to go and have dinner and and have fun and drink some wine sometimes numbs the senses and blinds the people from the reality, So, but now everything is in plain sight and it can be seen clear as day. And for me now, it's for people not to not to be despondent about it, but to take action and to move forward and to use that momentum to get things moving. Because for too long, as a people, we have settled for less and have stayed quiet. And even people who used to be benefiting from the spoils want to stay mute as well. And now is not time for that because right now they are now feeling the pressure because no business. So, we have to really fix some of these problems in the country because we see what happening in Trinidad right now, in the Mova area and so on, where the man them say them fed up and then pull up them gun and then fighting with police and thing are go on. So, Grenada and all the other countries going through the same kind of oppression and the same kind of inequality, the same kind of problems. So, we have to see how we could chat foot forward in a more progressive way and build our country, because who will build it? And I agree with what you're saying, Akalisha. The sharing to Lime and to Breadfoot is only a temporary suit to the issue. From top down, like stricter policy and stricter investments and so on need to be made in the areas that are progressive and productive for Grenada people. Like we have to put our money where our mouth is. Tourism is like a dead horse now for now until when God knows because of the uncertainty of things. So we can sit down and play waiting game. So I agree, it can be. I mean, yeah, we have to share the lime and the passion fruit and so on. I have to bring some for your college stuff because how long I have to bring a like a package for you. But that is not enough, you
You like
know.
the you like the government that not even depending on you to keep your promise anymore. And I have my passion fruit tree just blossomed again, so I'll be having passion fruit soon.
But time to kind of wrap up now because it's about 59 minutes. Sorry, I know sometimes we get so hot. Sometimes when I really check it, all after 9 weeks still going, and I say, "Oh God, by what?"
Yeah, and Miss McQueen have to go and greet Tanya to put in the
I
fridge.
have to go and look after our prime minister. You said he was looking very tired, and we cannot have
Yeah,
that.
he looked and sounded very, very tired, and I was concerned because a physically weak leader is also a problem for a nation, and the health
It's,
of the leader is definitely has to definitely be a concern of and an interest of the people. I know here it makes us uncomfortable to talk about the health of the prime minister, but in such a key position, your health cannot be a private issue. We have to know that our leader is in mentally and physically. That is one of the prerequisites to being.
Well, I'll make some lime juice and bring for him.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to make some lime
some
juice.
some
Some
tamarind.
lime. Yeah.
You gotta use more pure water to make that lime juice.
Yep. I'm going to bring. I am going straight up now, and I'll bring that for him. Well, I'll tell him you say hi.
And brown sugar. I hope there's brown sugar in the country because even our ability to get brown sugar, which is healthier than white sugar, was also screwed up by a system that's not working well. So I hope you will make sure you make it with brown sugar. Don't give my prime minister no white sugar.
Eh,
White sugar no good for him.
Sherry said he's tired. He should take a rest.
Yeah, he
I
should
will.
take a
I'll
rest.
pass the message on.
Yeah,
Say it, Miss
Good
McQueen.
night,
Miss
guys.
McQueen.
Yeah.
Miss
Yeah.
McQueen,
missed for a long
you
time.
need some TLC. You need some TLC too, eh? You need some TLC, when sometimes COVID, they're like a tender love, like a massage. They have to
Well,
go well, go on the beach, go up in Carrico for a weekend.
well, that's the young people that old people. So we'll have to look for a young wife
Eh?
that could do that.
Hey, Miss
But
Marco,
then
let me
a
tell you
young
something.
wife.
When people old, when men get older, they just get a new wind in it. A new kind of
No,
hotness
no,
that's
no.
coming.
No. God said he come to save the kill the sick, not raise the
Not
dead.
not not
Nah,
raise the dead.
not raise the dead.
Oh
No,
God,
no, 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 no.
well, I guess you're talking from experience, so we can't go against that.
Not raise the dead. Jesus come to heal the sick, not raise the dead.
But I certainly hope that I know he's under a lot of pressure. The situation in the country has gotten worse, and so I hope that he can get his act together. I certainly wish him the best of health because you know that's not how we want to win our fight for better conditions in the country. We want to win it by making changes. So I certainly hope that he can be healthy. Um, yeah, I was
Yeah, I'm sure he was. He has been going through a lot. He's been going through a lot for the 3 months, So I'm sure Carnival is coming. You will see him up there with his pink um,
But
t-shirt, hair all done.
did they cancel Carnival?
But don't worry,
Yeah,
I'm sure,
Miss McQueen,
I'm sure he will
but
be up there dancing.
nobody they cancel it if you have to be dancing. You have to be dancing in his house for the virtual carnivals. But the point there I make about leaders, I've been looking at all the world leaders, and not this time really separate the sheep from the goat in terms of leaders, because COVID really put leaders to test and to see who could rise and who could fall. And we're seeing who is being battered and bruised, and we're seeing who's soldiering on. So it's time. I think Dr. Mitchell's legacy is on the line, as it is for many of the leaders right now. And so I think he has been. I think that in terms of managing the COVID and staying COVID free and so on, and keeping that statistic there, it is a good badge of honor. But how do the livelihoods and the economic activity and the people's well-being kick off from this is what is going to be the final chapter of the story. So the job is just starting. Like the work is just starting, and so let's see what's popping. Well, ladies, I think it's time for us to wrap up.
Before you go, actually, Mabel Charles said use honey in the lime juice to the Prime Minister. And Bob Marisho is advising you to wear a mask when you go and deliver all these things to the Prime Minister to make sure that you keep him safe.
Our prime minister is like Donald Trump. He is very strong. He's COVID resistance.
Well, he might be COVID resistant, but he's not resistant to something. Um, so anyhow, we wish the Prime Minister the best of health and the best of luck in helping us to build our country. And we hope that he would sound stronger and look better the next time he appears in public. One of the things that we must do, he's the Prime Minister, get people to give him a massage and take care of him as well as possible. I won't complain if he's getting special treatment to make sure that he stays strong and gets through this crisis very well. I mean, I know sometimes he may not get to have his full night's sleep because of all the work he has to do for COVID people. I don't mean anything else. But you know that sleeping is important and that he gets his night's sleep and that the people around him support him and do what they're supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, we don't want whatever fight is going on internally among us here. We don't want our leader to appear weak to the world. It does not do. It does not help the image of the country, and we already have an image problem. So good night, everybody. Rolanda Kitaka.
Good night.
It's been fun. It's been fun. And to our viewers, thank you so much for the comments and for sticking with us for the last hour. We'll see you again on Friday. Take care, everybody. Wear your mask.
Bye.